A professional boxer stood in the middle of the ring and laughed. "You're that actor, right? The guy who pretends to fight in movies? Come on up here. Let's see if you can throw a real punch." The gym erupted in laughter. Keanu Reeves sat quietly in the corner, hands wrapped, saying nothing. The boxer kept pushing, kept mocking, kept challenging. Finally, Keanu stood up and climbed into the ring. What happened next took exactly 4 seconds. One move. That's all it took. And the entire gym fell silent. But this story isn't about fighting. It's about respect, about assumptions, and about what happens when you judge someone based on what you think you know instead of what's actually true. Marcus, the Mauler Henderson, had been a pro boxer for 8 years, 23 wins, 2 losses, both on points. He had never been knocked down, not once. He trained at Iron City Boxing in downtown Los Angeles, a real gym, not a fancy place where movie stars came to take pictures. This was where real fighters worked. Marcus was proud of that. He grew up in Compton, started boxing at 12 to stay out of trouble, moved up through amateur fights, turned pro at 20. People knew him as a hard puncher with a strong chin. Boxing gave him everything: money, respect, a way out, and he protected it. So when Jimmy, the gym owner, said a celebrity was coming to train, Marcus was not happy. "What kind of celebrity?" Marcus asked, hitting the heavy bag. "An actor. Needs boxing for a movie." "Great, another Hollywood guy who wants to pretend he's a boxer. They bring in cameras too?" "No cameras. He asked for privacy, just wants to train." "Who is it?" "Keanu Reeves." Marcus stopped punching. "The John Wick guy?" "That's him. He's like 60, right?" "He's 59. Marcus laughed. "And he wants to train here, with real fighters?" "That's what he asked. Said he doesn't want private lessons, wants to train with everyone. Get the real feel." "This should be fun." Marcus went back to the bag. He had seen this many times. Actors who thought doing action movies meant they could really fight. They came in, did a few drills, took photos, and left feeling tough. It annoyed him. Guys like him had given their whole lives to this sport. 2 days later, Keanu walked into Iron City Boxing at 6 in the morning. The gym smelled like sweat and leather, old posters on the walls, heavy bags hanging from chains, a boxing ring in the middle. About 15 fighters were already training. Jumping rope, hitting bags, working with trainers. Keanu wore simple clothes, black shorts, gray shirt, old boxing shoes. Jimmy met him at the door. "Mr. Reeves, welcome." "Just Keanu, thanks for letting me train here." "We're happy to have you. Let me show you around." Marcus watched from across the gym. Keanu looked fit for his age, but movie fit was not the same as fighter fit. Jimmy brought him over. "Keanu, this is Marcus Henderson, one of our best guys. Marcus, Keanu Reeves." They shook hands. Marcus squeezed harder than needed, testing him. Keanu's grip was strong, but he didn't squeeze back, just nodded. "Nice to meet you." "Yeah, you too." "Marcus is a big fan of your work," Jimmy said. He wasn't, but he didn't say anything. "Keanu's getting ready for a role," Jimmy said. "He needs real boxing. I thought you could help him. Show him the basics." Marcus wanted to say no. He wasn't a babysitter. But Jimmy gave him that look. The look that said this mattered for the gym. Celebrities brought attention. Attention brought new members. New members paid the bills. "Sure," Marcus said. "I can show him a few things." "Great, I'll leave you too." After Jimmy left, Marcus turned to Keanu. "You ever boxed before?" "A little, long time ago." "How long ago?" "Maybe 20 years. Marcus nodded. "Okay, let's start with your stance." For the next hour, he taught him footwork, how to jab, how to keep his hands up. To his surprise, Keanu listened. He didn't argue. He tried to fix mistakes right away, but he was still a beginner. His body was stiff. His punches were weak. He got tired fast. After an hour, Marcus stopped. "That's enough. You're not used to this kind of training." Keanu was breathing hard, but he nodded. "Thanks. I appreciate it." "No problem. Come back tomorrow." Keanu came back the next day, and the next, and the next. For 2 weeks, he came every morning at 6, trained for 2 hours, then left. He didn't talk much, didn't ask for special treatment, he just worked. Some of the fighters started to respect him. The guy was almost 60 and still working hard, but Marcus stayed doubtful. Trying hard didn't mean you were good. To him, Keanu was still just an actor playing dress-up. In the 3rd week, something changed. Marcus was hitting the heavy bag when he heard 2 young fighters talking. "Man, did you see John Wick? That church scene was crazy." "Yeah, Keanu's a beast." "You think he could really fight?" "I mean, he does his own stunts. I saw his training video. Guy's legit." Marcus stopped hitting the bag. "He's not legit." The 2 fighters looked at him. "What?" "Keanu, he's not a real fighter. Movie stunts are not real fighting." "But he trains with pros." "He trains with stunt guys," Marcus said. "People who teach him how to make it look good on camera. That's different from learning how to actually hurt someone. One of the fighters, a kid named Tommy, frowned. I don't know, man. I've seen some of his training videos. Looks pretty real to me. It's choreography. It's dance fighting. Looks cool, but wouldn't work in a real situation. You really think so? I know so. Put him in a ring with an actual boxer and he'd get destroyed. Tommy glanced toward the corner where Keanu was working with a trainer on shoe defense. Maybe you should test that theory. What? Challenge him, sparring match, see if you're right. Marcus laughed. I'm not going to beat up a 60-year-old actor. Why not? If you're so sure he can't fight, prove it. Something about the way Tommy said it bothered Marcus. Like the kid didn't believe him. Like these young fighters actually thought Keanu was some kind of real badass because of movies. That needed to be corrected. Fine, Marcus said. Next time he's here, I'll ask him to spar. The next morning, Keanu arrived at his usual time. Marcus waited until Keanu finished warming up, then approached him. Hey, you've been training for 3 weeks now. Want to try some light sparring? Keanu looked up from wrapping his hands. Sparring? Yeah, nothing serious. Just to see how you apply what you've learned. Good way to test your skills. Keanu was quiet for a moment. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? You scared? No, just don't see the point. The point is to see if you can actually use this stuff. Anyone can hit a bag. Real boxing happens against another person. I appreciate the offer, but I'm good. Marcus felt irritation rising. Come on, I'll go easy on you. Just light contact. Help you understand what a real fight feels like. I understand what a real fight feels like. From movies? Keanu's expression didn't change. From experience? What experience? Stunt work? Something like that. Marcus laughed. It's not the same thing. Look, I'm offering to help you. Don't you want to learn? I'm learning plenty already, from hitting bags and doing drills, but you won't really know if it works until you try it against someone. That's just facts. Keanu finished wrapping his hands. Maybe another time. He walked away to work with his trainer. Marcus stood there feeling dismissed, like his offer to help wasn't good enough. Tommy came over. He say no? Yeah? Why? Said he doesn't see the point. Or maybe he knows he'd get embarrassed. Marcus nodded, slowly. Yeah, maybe. For the next few days, Marcus couldn't let it go. Every time he saw Keanu training, he thought about the younger fighters who believed the movies were real, who thought stunts and choreography equaled actual fighting ability. It bothered him more than it should have. Finally, on Friday morning, Marcus decided to push harder. Keanu was working the speed bag when Marcus approached with Tommy and 2 other fighters. Hey, Keanu, got a minute? Keanu stopped and turned. What's up? The guys and I were talking. We think it would be good for you to do some sparring. See what you've learned in a live situation. I already told you, I'm not interested. Why not? You've been coming here for almost a month. Don't you want to actually test yourself? I'm testing myself every day. Marcus shook his head. Hitting bags isn't testing yourself. Sparring is. That's where you find out what works and what doesn't. I know what works. From movies? From training. Movie training or real training? Keanu's jaw tightened slightly. Real training. Then prove it. Get in the ring. Show everyone here that all those John Wick fights are based on real skill. Tommy jumped in. Yeah, man. Everyone wants to see it. Right, guys? The other fighters nodded. A few more had gathered, sensing something happening. Keanu looked around at the growing crowd. This isn't necessary. Maybe not for you, Marcus said, but it would be good for these young guys to understand the difference between Hollywood fighting and real fighting. They look up to you. They think you're actually tough because of your movies. Someone should show them the truth. The truth? That it's all fake. Choreography, wire work, camera tricks. I don't use wire work. Whatever. Point is, it's not real. And these guys need to understand that before they step into a real situation thinking they can fight because they saw John Wick. Keanu studied Marcus for a long moment. You really want to do this? I think it would be educational. For who? For everyone. Keanu looked around the gym. At least 20 fighters had stopped training to watch this conversation, all of them waiting to see what would happen. All right, Keanu said quietly. Let's spar. Marcus smiled. Great. Light contact, just to show technique. No. No, if we're doing this, we do it properly. Full contact, no holding back. Marcus blinked. You sure about that? You want to show everyone the difference between movie fighting and real fighting, right? Let's show them. Keanu, I'm a professional. I don't want to hurt you. Then don't, the crowd murmured. This had escalated quickly. Jimmy pushed through the gathered fighters. What's going on here? Keanu and I are going to spar, Marcus said. Full contact. Jimmy looked at Keanu. Is that true? It's true. I don't think that's a good idea. Marcus is a pro. You're training for a movie role. There's a liability issue. I'll sign a waiver, Keanu said. This was my choice. Jimmy hesitated. Why are you doing this? Because Marcus wants to teach everyone a lesson. I'm going to let him try. The way Keanu said it made Marcus pause. There was something in his voice. Not anger, not fear, something else. But Marcus pushed the thought away. He was a professional boxer. Keanu was an actor. This would be over in seconds. All right, Jimmy said reluctantly. Let me get the paperwork. 10 minutes later, both men stood in the ring. Keanu had signed the waiver. They'd both put on headgear and 16-ounce gloves. The entire gym had gathered around the ring. Phones were out. Everyone wanted to see this. Marcus bounced on his toes, warming up. Across the ring, Keanu stood still, just breathing, watching. Jimmy climbed into the ring. Okay, this is a 3-round sparring session, 3 minutes each round, 1 minute rest between rounds. I'm the referee. You listen to my commands. If I say stop, you stop. Understood? Both men nodded. Touch gloves. They met in the center of the ring and touched gloves. Marcus looked Keanu in the eye, expecting to see nervousness, fear. Instead, he saw calm. Complete calm. Box! Marcus started circling immediately. Hands up, light on his feet. He threw a few jabs to test distance. Keanu moved backward, evading easily. Marcus threw a combination. Jab, jab, right cross. Keanu slipped the first 2 jabs and leaned away from the cross. Smooth. Practiced. Okay, the guy had some defense. That was fine. Marcus pressed forward, throwing more punches, trying to land something, trying to show the crowd that Keanu couldn't compete, but nothing landed. Keanu moved like water. Every punch sailed past him by inches. Marcus increased his pace, more combinations, faster punches, harder shots. Keanu kept evading, not blocking, just moving, like he knew where every punch was going before it got there. 30 seconds had passed. Marcus hadn't landed a single clean shot. He heard murmurs from the crowd. This wasn't what they expected. Neither was Marcus. He changed tactics, went to the body, threw a hard left hook to the ribs. Keanu turned his torso slightly and the punch glanced off. Marcus threw a right uppercut. Keanu pulled his head back just enough. This was getting embarrassing. Marcus was a professional fighter and he couldn't hit a 60-year-old actor. He needed to land something, now. Marcus threw everything he had. A 6-punch combination. Hooks, crosses, uppercuts, maximum power, maximum speed. Keanu evaded the first 5 punches. The 6th one, a left hook, Keanu didn't evade. He caught it, not with a block, with a parry. His right hand came up and redirected Marcus's punch downward, leaving Marcus's entire left side exposed. And in that split second of opening, Keanu countered. A right cross, perfectly placed, perfect timing, perfect technique. It hit Marcus square on the jaw. Marcus's head snapped to the side. His legs went rubbery. His vision blurred. He stumbled backward, trying to keep his balance. The crowd gasped. Marcus had been hit thousands of times in training and in fights. He had an iron chin. People didn't hurt him with one punch. But that punch had hurt. He shook his head, trying to clear it, looked across the ring at Keanu. Keanu had returned to his stance, calm, waiting. You okay? Jimmy asked. Yeah, Marcus said. I'm good. But he wasn't good. That punch had shaken him in more ways than one, because that wasn't a movie punch. That wasn't choreography or stunt work. That was a real punch, thrown by someone who clearly knew how to fight. Box, Jimmy called. Marcus approached more carefully this time, respect creeping into his strategy. He threw a jab. Keanu slipped it and countered with his own jab, snapped Marcus's head back. Marcus threw a right cross. Keanu ducked under it and came up with a left hook to the body. Marcus felt the air leave his lungs. This wasn't possible. Actors didn't fight like this. Movie stars didn't have this kind of skill. Unless, Marcus thought, about all the training videos he'd dismissed, all the stories about Keanu doing his own stunts, all the interviews where fight coordinators talked about how dedicated he was. What if it wasn't just for show? What if Keanu had actually learned to fight? Really fight? Marcus tried a different approach, used his footwork to create angles, tried to be technical instead of powerful. Keanu matched him step for step, like he could read what Marcus was going to do before he did it. Every time Marcus threw a punch, Keanu had an answer, a slip, a parry, a counter. The round felt like it lasted an hour. In reality, it was 3 minutes. When the bell rang, Marcus returned to his corner, breathing hard. His trainer, Ray, looked concerned. What the hell's happening out there? I don't know, Marcus admitted. He's good, really good. He's an actor. I know what he is, but he can fight. Like, actually fight. Ray squeezed water into Marcus's mouth. You're the professional, remember that. Use your experience. He can't have been doing this as long as you. Marcus nodded, but doubt was creeping in. The bell rang for round 2. This time, Marcus came out aggressive. He wasn't going to let an actor outbox him in his own gym, in front of everyone. He threw a hard combination: jab, cross, left hook, right uppercut. Keanu evaded the first 3 and caught the uppercut with a textbook parry. Then he countered with something Marcus had never seen in a boxing ring: a straight punch, not a cross. A straight punch coming from the center line, faster than anything Marcus expected. It hit him in the solar plexus. Perfect placement. Marcus doubled over, gasping. The pain was sharp and immediate. "Stop," Jimmy called. "You okay, Marcus?" Marcus nodded, even though he felt like he'd been hit by a baseball bat. "Box!" Keanu came forward for the first time, not aggressive, just closing distance. Marcus tried to create space, but Keanu cut off the ring, footwork that was too good, too precise. Another punch came. This one to Marcus's ribs. He tried to block, but Keanu's punch went around his guard like it knew a secret path. Marcus felt the rib shot deep. His whole side lit up with pain. He swung wildly, trying to land something, anything. Keanu ducked under the wild swing and came up with an uppercut that snapped Marcus's head back. Stars exploded in Marcus's vision. His knees buckled. He was going down. For the first time in his professional career, Marcus Henderson was about to hit the canvas. But before he fell, Keanu caught him, grabbed his arm, and steadied him. "Stop!" Jimmy jumped in. "That's it. Match is over." The gym was completely silent, 20-plus fighters staring in disbelief. Marcus, the mauler. Henderson, undefeated professional boxer, had just been dismantled by a 60-year-old actor in less than 2 rounds. Keanu helped Marcus to the corner and sat him on the stool. Then, he took out his mouthpiece and removed his gloves. Ray was checking Marcus for injuries. "You okay? How many fingers am I holding up?" 3, Marcus said. "I'm fine." But he wasn't fine. His ego was shattered, his confidence broken. Everything he thought he knew had just been turned upside down. Keanu climbed out of the ring and started unwrapping his hands. The crowd parted for him. Nobody said anything. They just watched. Marcus pulled himself together and climbed out of the ring. He walked over to where Keanu was sitting. "Hey," Keanu looked up. "You all right?" "Yeah, yeah." Marcus sat down on the bench next to him. "I need to ask you something." "Okay." "Where did you learn to fight like that?" Keanu finished unwrapping his left hand before answering. "I've been training in martial arts for 25 years. Judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, boxing, Muay Thai. Not for movies, for myself." 25 years? Give or take. Why didn't you say anything? When I was offering to teach you basics, you already knew all of this. I did say something. I told you I had experience. You assumed I meant movie experience. Marcus felt shame wash over him. You could have corrected me. I tried. You didn't want to listen. So you just let me talk down to you for 3 weeks? You weren't talking down to me. You were teaching me boxing technique. I learned a lot from you. But you can already fight better than I can. I can fight differently than you can. Doesn't mean better. You're a professional boxer. You have skills I don't have. Like what? You just schooled me in my own sport. Keanu looked at him directly. You have ring experience, conditioning, the ability to take punishment and keep going. Those are real skills. Important skills. Not important enough. Marcus, you're a professional athlete. I'm an actor who trains as a hobby. You dedicate your life to this. I just do it to stay sharp. A hobby? Marcus laughed bitterly. That was a hobby? Compared to what you do? Yeah. Marcus shook his head. I don't understand. If you're this good, why do you let people think you're just an actor doing stunts? Because I am just an actor doing stunts. The martial arts training is personal, private. I don't need everyone to know about it. But people think you're fake, that all your fights are choreographed camera tricks. They are choreographed. Movies aren't real fights, they're storytelling. But you could actually do the things John Wick does. Some of them, not all. Movies exaggerate. That's the point. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then, I'm sorry. For what? For pushing you into this, for trying to embarrass you in front of everyone. You didn't embarrass me. You challenged me. That's different. I challenged you because I thought you were fake, thought I'd expose you. And instead? Instead, I exposed myself, showed everyone that I'm an arrogant asshole who makes assumptions. Keanu smiled slightly. You're not an asshole. You're protective of your sport. I understand that. Still, I was wrong about you. And I'm sorry. Apology accepted. They sat in silence for a moment. Around them, the gym was slowly returning to normal, fighters going back to their training. But everyone kept glancing at Keanu. Tommy approached cautiously. Mr. Reeves, can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you let Marcus think you were a beginner? You could have told him from the start that you knew how to fight. Would he have believed me? Tommy thought about it. Probably not. Exactly. Sometimes you have to show people instead of telling them. But you let him teach you stuff you already knew. I learned from him. Even when you know something, there's always more to learn. Marcus has technique I don't have, experience I don't have. I valued that. Another fighter spoke up. Are you going to keep training here? If Jimmy will still have me. Of course, Jimmy said, appearing from his office. You're welcome any time. Even after I just beat up one of your best fighters? Jimmy laughed. Especially after that, every gym needs someone to keep the egos in check. Marcus stood up. His ribs hurt, his jaw hurt, his pride hurt most of all. But something else was happening too, a kind of clarity. He'd spent 3 weeks judging Keanu based on his profession, based on assumptions, based on the idea that actors couldn't be real fighters, and he'd been completely wrong. Keanu, Marcus said, would you be willing to train with me, like, actually train? Not me teaching you, us training together. Keanu looked surprised. You want to train with me? I want to learn from you. You have skills I don't, different techniques, different approaches. I could become a better fighter by training with you. I'm not a boxing coach. I don't need a boxing coach. I need a training partner who'll push me, who'll show me things I don't know, someone who'll keep me humble. Keanu smiled. I can do that. They shook hands. This time Marcus didn't squeeze too hard. He just showed respect. Over the next 6 months, Keanu became a regular at Iron City Boxing. He came 3 times a week, trained with Marcus, worked with other fighters, and slowly the culture of the gym changed. The young fighters who'd thought movie fighting was real learned the difference. But they also learned that real skill could exist outside of professional sports. The older fighters learned not to judge based on age or profession. And Marcus learned the most important lesson of all. Assumptions are dangerous. He'd assumed Keanu was soft because he was an actor. He'd assumed age meant weakness. He'd assumed his own experience made him superior. All of those assumptions had been wrong. One afternoon, Marcus was working the heavy bag when a new member approached him. Young guy, early 20s, cocky attitude. Hey, you're Marcus Henderson, right? Yeah. I saw that video of you sparring Keanu Reeves. That was embarrassing, man. Marcus stopped punching. What video? Someone posted it, online. It went viral. You getting schooled by an old dude? Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd asked everyone not to post the sparring session. Someone had anyway. Yeah, Marcus said. I got beat. What about it? Just seems weird. You're supposed to be a pro. I am a pro. Then how'd you lose to an actor? Marcus put down his gloves and turned to face the kid. Because that actor has been training in martial arts for 25 years. Because he's dedicated. Because he's skilled. And because I underestimated him. Same mistake you're making right now. I'm not making any mistake. You're judging him based on his job instead of his abilities. Same thing I did, and it'll bite you the same way it bit me if you're not careful. The kid laughed. I'm not worried about some old actor. Then you're a fool. Whatever, man. I came here to train with a champion, not someone who gets beat by movie stars. Marcus felt anger rising. A month ago, he would have challenged this kid, put him in his place, showed him who the real fighter was. But now he did something different. Keanu, Marcus called across the gym. Got a minute? Keanu finished the combination he was working on and walked over. What's up? This young man thinks you're just an old actor. I thought maybe you could help educate him. Keanu looked at the kid. I don't want to fight anyone. Not fight, just spar, light contact. Show him what real training looks like. The kid's bravado faltered slightly. I didn't come here to spar with some actor. Too scared? Marcus asked. I'm not scared of him. Then prove it. Get in the ring. 10 minutes later, the kid was in the ring with Keanu. Headgear on, gloves on, confidence intact. 3-minute round, Jimmy called. Light contact, I'm watching. Box! The kid came out aggressive, throwing hard punches, trying to overwhelm Keanu with youth and power. Keanu evaded everything, made the kid miss by miles. Then, when the kid overextended on a wild hook, Keanu tapped him with a counter punch. Light contact, just enough to prove a point. The kid reset, threw more punches, faster now, angrier. Keanu made him miss again, countered again, another light tap. This happened for 3 minutes, the kid throwing everything he had, Keanu evading and countering with precise, controlled strikes. When the bell rang, the kid was exhausted, frustrated, humiliated. Keanu helped him out of the ring. You've got power, good speed too, but you telegraph your punches, and you drop your right hand when you throw the left hook. The kid stared at him. How do you know that? I've been doing this a long time. You want me to show you how to fix it? The kid nodded slowly. For the next 30 minutes, Keanu worked with him, showed him technique, corrected his form, taught him. By the end, the kid's whole attitude had changed. "Thank you," he said quietly. "No problem. Come back tomorrow. We'll work on your defense." After the kid left, Marcus approached. "Keanu, you didn't have to do that." "Do what?" "Help him. He was disrespectful." "He was ignorant. Not the same thing. Now he knows better." "You think he'll actually come back?" "I think he'll think about what happened here. And maybe he'll realize that judging people based on assumptions is a mistake. Same lesson I taught you." Marcus smiled. "You've got a gift for teaching." "So do you. You taught me a lot about boxing technique. After treating you like a beginner for 3 weeks. And then you apologized. That takes strength. A lot of people can't admit when they're wrong." Marcus thought about that. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure. That first day, when I was teaching you basic jabs and footwork, stuff you already knew, why didn't you stop me?" "Because you were teaching, and I was learning. But you knew how to throw a jab. I knew one way. You were showing me a different way, a boxing-specific way. That's valuable. So you really did learn from me, even though you can fight better than I can?" "Marcus, you need to stop comparing. Fighting isn't about who's better. It's about what you know and what you can learn. You have knowledge I don't have. I have knowledge you don't have. When we train together, we both get better." "That's a good way to look at it. It's the only way to look at it. The moment you think you know everything, you stop growing." Marcus nodded slowly. That made sense. A few months later, Marcus had a professional fight. Bigger opponent, heavier puncher. Everyone expected Marcus to struggle. Instead, he dominated. Used footwork he'd learned from training with Keanu. Used timing and distance management that came from sparring with someone who fought differently than traditional boxers. He won by knockout in the 5th round. After the fight, reporters asked about his improved performance. "I've been training with someone new," Marcus said, "learning different techniques, different approaches. It's made me a more complete fighter." "Who's the trainer?" Marcus smiled. "Just a guy at my gym. He's taught me to keep an open mind, to never assume I know everything. That's been the most valuable lesson." The next day, Keanu texted him, "Saw the fight. You looked great. That counter in the 4th round was perfect." Marcus typed back, "Learned it from watching you. Thanks for everything. You did the work. I just showed up. You showed me there's always more to learn. That's worth more than any technique. See you at the gym tomorrow? Wouldn't miss it." 2 years after the sparring match, Marcus was training for the biggest fight of his career. A title shot. His chance to become a champion. The fight was 3 weeks away. His training camp was intense, brutal. Everything hurt. One evening, Marcus was alone in the gym hitting the heavy bag. Everyone else had gone home. Just him and his demons. The door opened. Keanu walked in. "Thought I'd find you here," Keanu said. "Couldn't sleep. Needed to work." "You're overtraining. Your body needs rest." "I'll rest after the fight." Keanu walked over and held the heavy bag. "Talk to me. What's going on?" Marcus stopped punching. "I'm scared." "Of the fight?" "Of losing. Of proving everyone right who said I couldn't do it. Of wasting this chance." "You're not going to waste it." "How do you know?" "Because you've put in the work. Because you've evolved as a fighter. Because you're ready." "What if I'm not?" Keanu let go of the bag. "Come here. Sit down." They sat on the bench. The gym was quiet except for the hum of the ventilation system. 2 years ago, Keanu said, you challenged me to spar because you thought you knew who I was, what I could do. You were wrong. I remember. That experience changed you, made you humble, made you curious, made you willing to learn from anyone. Those qualities are what make you dangerous now. Dangerous how? You don't fight with just your body anymore. You fight with your mind. You adapt. You think. You see opportunities other fighters miss because you've trained with people from different disciplines. That's your edge. Marcus absorbed this. You really think I can win? I know you can. But more importantly, you need to know you can. And if I lose? Then you lose. It happens. But you'll have given everything, left nothing on the table. That's all anyone can ask. Marcus felt some of the tension leave his shoulders. Thanks for coming by. That's what training partners do. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Marcus asked, You nervous before big scenes? When you're filming? Sometimes, especially stunt scenes where things could go wrong. How do you deal with it? I trust my training, trust the preparation, and I remember that fear is just a sign that something matters. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be nervous. So being scared is okay? Being scared is normal. What you do with that fear is what counts. Marcus nodded. I'm going to win this fight. I believe you. And after I win, I want you. In my corner for the next one. Keanu smiled. I'm not a boxing coach. No, but you're my friend, and you keep me grounded. That's worth more than any technical advice. Then I'll be there. They stood up. Keanu started to leave, then turned back. Marcus? Yeah? That first day we sparred, when you were on the verge of getting knocked down and I caught you. You know why I did that? Why? Because proving a point wasn't as important as protecting someone. Winning doesn't matter if you hurt people along the way. I was trying to hurt you. I know, but I wasn't trying to hurt you back. I was trying to teach you. There's a difference. After Keanu left, Marcus stood alone in the empty gym. He thought about the past 2 years, how much he'd changed, how much he'd grown, all because an actor had taught him that assumptions were dangerous and ego was the enemy of growth. 3 weeks later, Marcus fought for the championship. In the 6th round, he landed a perfect counterpunch. Same technique Keanu had used on him 2 years ago. Perfect timing, perfect placement. His opponent went down. The referee counted to 10. Marcus Henderson was the new champion. After the fight, when reporters asked about his secret to success, Marcus pointed to the corner where Keanu stood applauding. That man taught me the most important lesson of my career. Never assume you know everything. Never judge people by their job or their age or their background. Just respect everyone and stay humble. That's how you grow. That's how you win. The reporter followed Marcus's gesture. Who is that? Marcus smiled. Just a guy who trains at my gym. Best training partner I've ever had. Later, in the locker room, Keanu congratulated him. You did it. I'm proud of you. Couldn't have done it without you. You did all the work. You showed me how to think differently, how to be open. That changed everything. They hugged. Two fighters from different worlds who'd found common ground through mutual respect. As Marcus held up his championship belt for photos, he thought about the young fighter who'd walked into Iron City Boxing 2 years ago. That Marcus would never have won this fight. He'd been too arrogant, too closed-minded, too sure of what he knew. But this Marcus was different. This Marcus understood that strength came from humility, that growth came from curiosity, that the best lessons often came from the people you least expected. And he'd learned all of that from a 60-year-old actor who'd been willing to climb into a ring and teach him the hardest lesson of his life. Never judge someone by what you think you know. Always stay humble. Always keep learning. Those principles had made him a champion, and they'd make him a better person. That night, Marcus posted something on social media, a photo of him and Keanu in the ring 2 years ago, the moment right after Keanu had caught him. The caption read, 2 years ago, I challenged this man thinking I'd teach him about real fighting. Instead, he taught me about real respect, about staying humble, about learning from everyone. Today, I'm a champion because I was willing to admit I was wrong and learn from someone I judged. Thank you, Keanu, for the lesson, and thank you for the friendship. The post went viral. Millions of views, thousands of comments. People shared their own stories about judging others and being wrong, about learning from unexpected teachers, about how humility changed their lives. And somewhere in Los Angeles, in a modest house, Keanu saw the post and smiled. He'd never set out to teach anyone anything. He'd just shown up to train. But somehow, that had been enough.